Alrighty. Okay. Think we got the stream going. I got my coffee. I did a big update. Everybody, if you have not downloaded the latest version, which is August 4th, then I would go ahead and make sure you go to the site, just log into your profile, download, just reinstall, and that will do an update for you. While it's in beta, the updates, you're just going to have to download it and just reinstall it, and it'll just overwrite what you currently have for Ticker Zcan, and you will get the updates. Now, the updates that you're getting, trying to keep my eye on the server. The tickets, the updates you're getting are the real-time quotes. The price, they should change. Yeah. So they're changing, as you can see here, they're changing. Also, we have an ATR, average true range. This is a 1 minute 14 period ATR, so you kind of can look at that and see what's moving. Right now, PBM is moving at an ATR of 10 cents. So that kind of gives you a good idea of what your first target can be and also what your stop loss can be. If you're kind of like if you're playing on the bounces here, like if you run up here and then we have a pullback here and the volume is lower than the run up right here. Let's say you want to get in here like at 512, then your stop can be like 502, like down here, because that's like 10 cents. That's what the ATR is good for. And then of course your target would be, let's say you got in at 512, target would be 522, first target, which is probably up here, 532. So yeah, it just gives you some good idea. And also the change in the float and the vol one just means for volume one. I'm going to be changing that. I really haven't figured out what I want to do with the volume. But that could change. And of course, we have news for BLDE. BLDE. Make sure you download the latest version, because that's going to be big for you. I just finished about 10 minutes ago doing the e-signer, so the virus protection software should not flag it or anything. I'm going to be signing all the downloads and the updates. When you can view it and verify it, and actually make sure you actually kind of do that, view it and verify it, make sure it is signed by me, Christopher Hall. Make sure it's signed by me. Don't be installing any updates or anything like that that is not signed by me. Of course, download link, it should be correct for the site. So always a good idea just to view the certificate signing of the software you install. And there's some companies that don't do that, but cost me some money to do that, but it's well worth it. Gives people a peace of mind that they're not installing crap. You check to make sure the stream is started. Let me sure the stream is started and everything is good to go. And I'm still on IBKR because the money has not hit light speed yet. I'm hoping it'll hit today or tomorrow morning. It really has to hit. I don't know what's going on. Stream is started. What's the latency? That's excellent. So that's ultra low latency. Okay. Yeah, just make sure you download the install. Okay, for PLDE, I don't think anything's going on. PLDE, nothing's going on. Let's take a look at EBM. I mean, I'm still kind of in limbo. Actually, I'm not able to trade. I'm not able to trade, but yeah. Make sure you do the download. That's going to be good for you. I'm going to be contacting some content creators, try to get more people testing this and see what they think about it. I really wouldn't be playing this bounce. It's not like an A plus setup. Plus, it's not in the playbook. I mean, we got a little hammer on the 5 minute. We're making higher highs, higher lows right now on the current 5 minute. But the problem is we had a big run down here, and then look at the volume. Volume's pretty high. Volume's kind of high on this candle right here at 7 o'clock. So the volume's a little bit high. And plus, you've already made your money with this. See, if you came in here, we had it run up, had a little micro pullback. You could have gotten in on the break of that at 491, ran it up to 501. So yeah, you probably got yourself 10 cents on that. And if you got in on this pop right here where the large volume came in, we had a micro pullback, you could have gotten in on the break of that, which is 525, and you ran it all the way up to 535. But let's see, that was at 630 to 635. So yeah, that was right, like right here. Now, right in here, you had some higher highs, higher lows, like a 625. You could have taken some trades here. It pulled back. There was no setup. It didn't break the high right there. That pulled back. That broke, but I wouldn't have gotten into that. Even though the volume was low, it closed below the 9 EMA. So if you wanted to play that, you should have played the break of 510. The break of 510 right there, because we had like a inside bar little doji right there. We didn't make a higher high, didn't make a lower low, so we didn't break that bar, and you could have gotten in on 510, ran it all the way up to the VWAP. But it's not an A plus setup, and the reason why it's not is because it's below the VWAP, and the VWAP, session VWAP for pre-market is sloping downwards. This is sloping upwards, which is good, but not an ideal setup. So if you go in light with your normal size, and you take some quick profits and lock it in. I just wouldn't take it just because it's not an A plus setup, but could take it. And then of course we came here, we kind of came close to the 9 EMA, so you could have gotten in. And I think at the time might have been 10 cent, 12 cent ATR. I mean, 515 ran up here to 530. You got yourself 10, 15 cents pretty easy. And then we had a micro pullback here, and then it broke, and then broke the session VWAP, but we could not hold it. And also, if you look at this candle right here and these two candles, the volume's kind of high. Okay, so, that's not ideal. It's just not an ideal setup. And if you're on a small account, like let's say you got a cash account and you're kind of limited to what you can do. Let's say you've got like $6,000 in the cash account, or $5,000 in the cash account. It's $5 stock. You really can't be going in with like 500 shares or something. You really don't want to be doing that unless it's really an A plus setup. That's the whole thing. unless it's an A+ setup, you really don't want to do it. Oh, I got to update the server. Got to update the list on the server. I think the server is fine. Log out of there. Just make sure you update. Go to your profile, download, update the app. If you're going to play the break of this, you're like you're looking to play the break of that. You're looking over here, and you want to see. I mean, we broke 484. We need to be holding it. We need a lot of buyers coming in. 480, but you got like 484. You need to break 486. Got some people selling, but you're looking at 482, and you got like 19, 20,000. This size right here is not 1800 in size. It's got another zero, so it's like when you see 100 here, it really means 1,000. So right now you got about 1,000. Yeah, so $13 being eaten up. Something's going on right here. We got a big seller at 481, 482. Because I noticed it was the size, it would get eaten up and then it would just refresh at 481. So, yeah. And look at the volume on that red candle right there. 50,000 volume. Plus, there's a lot of volume there. And there's a lot of volume. Yeah, see, now it's starting to dump. That's why it's so good for that breakout. But the volume right here was picking up. Oh, look at that. Slam down. Okay. Okay. We don't get into that. It had a little inside bar right there. We didn't break the high of 486. I was looking at like I think it was around 472, and the size it would be like 1800, which is really about 10,000. It would be like 1800 and be sitting there. Then it would get eaten up a little bit. Then it would refresh. Then it would get eaten up. Then it would refresh, eaten up, refresh. And when it's doing that, when this size is getting eaten up, like look at that 1200. If it goes down to like 3.2 and then all of a sudden it gets refreshed and there's more size in there and it doesn't move, it means there could be a hidden seller in there. You got to be careful with stuff like that. Look at that 40,000 at 471. Yeah, there's no way. 469. Yeah, I mean, that is not profit taking. That is people wanting to sell. As we can see here, all this is selling. Some of this candle right here could have been profit taking because we had a little spike up that could have been profit taking, but not ideal setup. And the reason why below the session VWAP, you know, you really don't need to be trading everything uh, that sets up that might have, you know, a slope of the EMA like this, and then you have a pop right here, and then the volume is lower than this, and then you get a break of that. Yeah, you could have made yourself a little change and everything, but and then let's say the 5 minute is making higher highs, lower lows, like 640, right around here. Yeah, it was doing that, but it's below this session VWAP, and the VWAP is sloping downwards. I mean, this is not really ideal. And then look at the daily. Yeah, we're at 470. We were up here. It broke the previous Friday high, but look at the daily. It's just sloping. It's just sloping downwards. You don't want to get into that. You want to get into this right here. That right there. And that right there, if you get into this move with the dailies going up and you're trying to scalp, and you got the VWAP sloping upwards, you making higher highs, higher lows on a 5-minute, VWAP sloping upwards, and then you go to the 1 minute and you get yourself some setups like this, and then the EMA is sloping upwards. That is ideal, because you're putting yourself in good odds of being able to scalp a little bit of money. But yeah, I did the update, so go ahead and download the update on the profile page. And the update is the price. I've got the socket running on the server, so you should be getting the price should be updating in real time, which it looks like it is doing. The ATR is now ATR-1 for a 1 minute 14 period average true range. So this is updating, and none of this really changed, except for I just changed the vol-1. And also what I did was the float, it's abbreviated now, so you'll see 700,000, 9 million, 57 million. You'll see that, so it's not like a large number. And also I did the same thing for the volume. You'll see like 900, then you'll see like 2.3K, 5.4K. So you know you got 5,000 volume there. I kind of did that, and that way we can shorten it up, because before it was like out here. Now we can just shorten it up. So it made it a little bit shorter. Also, it gives me a little bit more screen real estate for streaming. Not much, but a little bit. I'll take what I can get. Because on YouTube, 1920 by 1080, if you want ultra low latency, I could stream in 2K, but you're not going to get the latency. It's going to be a little bit higher. So that's why I stream in 1920 by 1080. Also, I'm using my M3 MacBook Pro to stream as well as to trade with. So once I get a bunch of people using the scanner, downloading it, I would say once I get like a couple hundred people using it and downloading, then I'll just go ahead and start really updating stuff. And then once it's out of beta and people are got like a couple hundred people doing $25 a month, that's when things are really going to change, because I'll be able to invest more time into it. And then what I will be doing is we will be doing like I would get a really big server, and I'll be able to crunch thousands and thousands bucks. Right now I think I'm going about 3,000 or something is on my list. But yeah, once we get this really kicked off and out of beta, what I want to do is be able to, when someone clicks on the ticker symbol, you can click on the ticker symbol and it brings up information about the company. Also, in the long term, what I want to do is actually build out a actual trading platform, a charting platform. So you can look at this at like the daily, the 5-minute, the 1 minute, and have like another chart with like seconds, like 15 seconds or something. But that's going to be in the future when we have quite a bit of people using this, that I'll be building out a charting platform. And it's not going to be anything like TradingView or anything like that. It's going to be a very basic one in the beginning. And then what I would like to do is build out a actual level 2. So if people don't have a level 2, then you can actually look at it here by just clicking on here, bring up the chart. Then you'll be able to see the level 2 right there. And also I'm going to add in a few more other things like delta. So there's a lot of plans for this. But right now, just want the scanner to be a minimal viable product for people. Go from there. KBLB. That's nothing. We have NOTE. We have note, which is nothing. We have KMTUY, which is nothing. Yeah, I mean, what's the SPY doing? Options there. Yeah, see, right now we had a gap down right there. I mean, we're at 625.27, so we're not really gapping up or gapping down. I mean, we had volume, really high volume kicking up on this sell-off right here. That's just because the tariffs expired, things like that. But, I mean, to be honest, when I looked this up, this run-up right here, this run-up was on basically rumor that, oh, we're just extending the tariff stuff. So we're just extending it and pushing it out to a further date. And that was good news. And it ran up, but it really wasn't big institutional buying this run up. So kind of like a false run up, to my honest opinion. And I made a little money on the swing account, my IRA, running it up, but then I just, once it got up to there, I just kind of sold it. And to be honest, I missed a lot of this move right here. I missed a lot of it. I got in, scalped a little bit on the swing trade, holding it for a couple of days. And right now, I mean, I'm flat. I was flat right up in here. I took a little bit of money, made a little bit of money on some earnings plays and stuff, but hey, I'm flat on my swing account. I'm just looking to see, are we going to get down to the 600 level? Because if we do, that'll be good for me. Some other people might not be too good. Well, we got PBM. PBM is the biggest one right now. PBM. Oh, let me got here. Okay. That I need trading view. Okay, not get that trading view. Outpost 4 windows. Yeah, so kind of like you can have the 4 windows up here, like off to the side, or you can take this. We ain't got nothing going on. Kind of take it like this, shrink it down a little bit, move it over to the side, and then you can kind of do an update. I mean, PBM. And you can kind of like update it here. Let's do this. I mean, we got PBM is the biggest gainer. We have ZEP, and then we have AACG. I think it's AACG. Then YSKT. No, YSXT. But you just have like that 4 window, kind of drag it off to the side here. Keep an eye on it. Something could move. Who knows? But those are your 4 top gainers so far. With volume, because I'm sorting by volume. I mean, PBM is the change of 98%. That's pretty high. But it's kind of sold off, so that's kind of a turd right now. Kind of a turd. That's selling up, but that's what you want to do. You just want to 3 to 4 window, kind of drag it off to the side here. Again, you want to go to your profile page on the site and do an update. Just go ahead and download the newest update. Just reinstall it. It will replace the old Ticker Zcan that you have, and you should be getting the price, the real-time pricing. As you can see, ARTL is updating, and then you'll get the ATR. Make sure you download it. I did the update this weekend. I got the WebSocket running on the server for streaming data. Right now, the only thing that's streaming is the price. I'm going to get other stuff, like volume is going to be streaming. I just have to figure out how I want to set that up, because right now the most important thing, we have news for ARTL. Bioscience announces market private placement. ARTL. I'm still waiting for Lightspeed. I'm in limbo right now. I can't even trade because my money's out of Interactive Brokers, and Lightspeed says it takes a couple of days for the ACH transfer to happen. So I'm kind of in limbo. Hopefully tomorrow morning it'll hit and I'll be back into trading live. But make sure you do the update. As far as for the volume, the most important thing is how much volume is in the pre-market. Is it going? Because a stock can be up 50%, but if it's like only 100,000 volume on pre-market and it's like 730, it's like not that good. But if you have a stock that's up 20% and it has like 2 million volume in the pre-market, I'd rather trade the one that's up 20% with 2 million volume than the one that's 50% with 100,000 volume, just because I need volume. Volume will push it, and that 20% could be raised up to 30, 40, you just don't know because of the volume coming in. That's why this column right here, I want to maybe replace the vol-1, which is 1 minute volume, with like, okay, this is pre-market movers. What is the pre-market volume doing? And then when you go into like low floater and top traded biggest gainers for when the market opens, maybe have the streaming data there of, hey, what is the volume doing for like since the market has opened? And because right now the pre-market's being sorted by volume. And the next update that I'm possibly looking to do, I don't trust this just because it's below the session VWAP. We have a huge top and tail in the 5 minute. We have a bounce off of the 9 EMA. We came down here, we kind of bounced off. I mean, could you make yourself 10 cents? Could it rip up the $5? Yes, but also another thing that you really have to look at is look at that spread. The spread's like 30 cents. Do you really want to go in 1,000 shares and be down $300 right off the bat? Probably not. And plus it's not an A+ setup. So you can always just pass on stuff. Like Mike Bellafiore says that IB, one good trade a day. And if you're trading a cash account, you really want to sit on your hands and wait for an A plus setup. Let's say you have to sit on your hands and wait for 2 hours, and then all of a sudden A plus setup comes around and you make yourself 20 cents. I mean, that's ideal. Start building up that cash account. Hopefully, hopefully the SEC and the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, will replace this PDT rule of 25 down to 2,000 like they're talking about. But then again, it takes forever for the government to do anything. I know that firsthand from being a senior software engineer for the government contractor. It takes them forever to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, so the update that came out, I signed it with e-signer. So you should be able to download it pretty easily. Now that I got this update with streaming data, what I'm going to do is start contacting some content creators and try to see if they can't push this out a little bit and try to get more people to test it out, see what it's like. One of the content creators I'm going to try and contact is Sean Deckmar. He's pretty cool guy to to check out. He does a lot of shorting, which I don't like shorting these micro caps, these low floaters. It's a little too dangerous. Just a little too dangerous. So there's not much going on this morning. We're being sorted by volume, which PBM is the highest volume right now and the leader at 94%. And after that, the next highest volume is ARTL. Got a change of 18.9%. Also, the update, kind of the float and the volume, I've just kind of abbreviated it so where it's like you can just look at it and see that it's like 900,000 there. It's like 9 million float there, 1.5 million. Also on the volume, we made it kind of a little bit better. Kind of sucks that I'm in limbo waiting for the money to hit light speed, but that platform is so much better. And in the future, once the scanner gets locked down, also I'm going to start working on a settings. So people can adjust the settings. People can, with the top press releases, people will be able to put in the keywords that they want to search for. Right now, it's just hard coded with what I'm looking for, reading the title. gonna have it so where people can go into a settings on the app, change it to what they want. Also, people can change up these columns, show what they want. If they don't want ATR, they can just not show it. So I think the next thing what I want to do is right here on the column is be able to click on, okay, I want to see the change percent. Click on that column and it sorts it by the top change percent. I want to see uh, the volume, and then click on the volume column and it sorts it by the volume. That will probably be the next thing that I'll work on. All right, so 7:42 press releases come out. The real good ones I've noticed will come out at 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30. Hopefully at 8 o'clock. I mean, you got a bunch of traders already at the desk at 7. Some of these brokers don't even allow people to trade till 7 o'clock unless you're with a good broker. I mean, Interactive Brokers allowed me to trade whenever a market was open. So is Lightspeed. This private placement for news for ARTL at 7:30 a.m. It really wasn't much. ARTL is not really doing anything. Let's look at ARTL. I'm going to look at ACG. So I did sign it with e-signer. Signer. Let me see if I can't get. If you click that link, let's say, trying to get a link. All file. See, digitally signed on the 4th. Okay. Um, Original file signed. Oh, signed zipped. Share. There we go. Share download. Download. Okay. The URL. Set password for document. this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna send. Well, I can still paste this in here so you can kind of know. That right there was eSigner. Uh, I need to update the site. I just got the socket connection, streaming socket connection working this weekend. Uh, SNGX hit the RVOL. SNGX hit the RVOL. It's only 78,023 RVOL change. SNGX. Come on, IB. Do it. Yeah, there's really nothing there. I just wouldn't touch that. It hit the RVOL scanner. Yeah, it did. It has got volume coming in, but there's really nothing there. I want to get the RVOL scanner scanning and streaming volume. Use the streaming volume. We can get this in real time. Again, takes a lot of work, and I've got other things. Also, when you install or download or update, you really, when you're installing it, you can view the options of certificate, so you can view the certificate and make sure it's signed by me. SNGX hit the RVOL again with 50,000. I got a minimum of 50,000, so there's still nothing there. This RVOL movers, I need to work on this to be able to stream it in real-time volume. But that will be later. All right, SNGX, you are nothing. I can lower lows on 5-minute. I mean, previously right here on the 5-minute, like at 740, that was really nothing there, and the volume didn't kick in until 743. So even then, the volume's low. I mean, the volume's low. I like seeing over 100,000, to be honest. I'm not trading real large shares. I'm not trading like 20, 25, 50,000 shares. But then again, I want to be able to get in and out quickly. And trading pre-market is dangerous if you are a beginner trader. Even if you've traded a little bit, I would highly recommend sticking with market hours. Pre-market, you can get yourself slaughtered. Get into a trade and you can't get out because it's dumping and you're winning pretty heavy. You could annihilate an account. BLDE has news that was earlier. 718 Job Aviation to buy Blade Air Mobility ride share business. Okay, and then at 7 o'clock, they had news. So PLDE seems like it's trying to push some press releases this morning. Got a float of 57 million. That's kind of high. It would have to have some serious volume coming in, even think about that. PLDE's already traded 500,000 volume. That's kind of low. Monday morning, we don't, Verb kind of spiked. You were looking at that, Verb kind of spiked. If you were looking at this on your chart, like I have 4 charts here and I just kind of look at certain things. Verb kind of spiked. We really don't have much. There's no volume there. I mean, you got 7,500, 8,000. There's really nothing there. PBM ARTLs, PBM has had decent volume earlier. Verb, we got a 5-minute topping tail. Pretty big. So, see what the SPY's doing. It's still just not doing much. We didn't gap up or gap down. And the futures, I don't think the futures is doing much. Yeah, the futures ain't doing much. It's a slow grind up, very little grind up on the futures for NASDAQ. The ES, the same thing. Oh, I need to update the list on the server. I think right now, I don't know how many we have. A few thousand stocks that the system is scanning. And it's scanning for market cap, like 1 billion, I mean 1 million to 1 billion. So price might be from $2 to 5. All right. p.m. Go below the session VWAP. Volume has dried up. I think people are done with that. Earlier this morning, it was okay. Right around 6:20 to 6:40. About that 20 minutes, there was a couple of scalps that could have been done. But then again, I am sitting in limbo waiting for light speed. I wish I could have stayed with Interactive Brokers. I really like them. But that Rule 144 with the SEC, the way they implement it, I just cannot deal with that. I cannot be locked into a micro cap trade, not be able to sell, then lose a lot of money. That I cannot deal with. Now, I called and talked to them, and they have a system. The computers will scan through, and if you get hit with that Rule 144, the system will scan through. You got a PBM. It's 8 o'clock. Bunch of the algos kicked in, and also there's a bunch of stuff that has to be ran through. So you got the 8 o'clock spike, 8 a.m. spikes. Yeah. Update the list here. PBM kind of spiked up, but then see what it does after 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, we've got 8 o'clock news. Let's see what comes out. 8 o'clock, any press release. List of 3,093, 3,000. Yeah. Work. Did that wrong. Okay. Sure, we don't do that. And B showed up on Arval. B. B. The daily's looking good. Not too hot. And we have news for NB. 7 a.m. no. So if they were going to run it, they would have ran it. Nio Corp purchases key land. parcels for the Elk Creek Critical Minerals Project. So that was at 7 a.m. They would have ran that already, I'm pretty sure. So let me go back to what I was doing. Of course, let's see. Oh, so that did work. Okay. That's going to work. I can do that. I don't know why. The heck? Okay, let's do it that way. All right. The 3,100 stocks we're scanning. Okay. $3,100. Okay. So this is going to work. H-top, see how that hammers the system. Okay, we are while I was doing that, we've got INMB that's running. Let me take a look at this. We've got an ATR of 11, so and we have news out at 8 a.m. INMB. Okay, INMB, you definitely want to keep that out on lookout. I'm going to replace that INMB. I'm going to BLDE. Then we'll just take a look at INMB. The only concerning thing is we've got the high volume right here. We got a topping tail on the 5-minute right here. That's a little concerning. Below the session VWAP, that's a little concerning. So if you're going to play it, make sure you play it with the smaller size. So if you got in, going to get in on this break of 318, 320, your first target, since it's ATR of 21, you wanted to look for 330. You need to come in here and look at the asks. We have 323. You really need, we got 324, 325. We got 326. We had 40,000 on the ask. It just got ate up, or it got yanked. We do not know. I need a time of sales for that. So it looks like it could be stalling. Got 318, 321. Had another 4,000 ask coming in, so it kind of stalled out. So if you were going to get on the break of that, which was 318, your target, which was 328, because the ATR is like 21 cents. No, wait a minute. Was NIMB, so I mean, the target was 330, the original target. It didn't hit it. It's trying to hit it now. That was INMB. We definitely hit that. And if we can break 340, 50,000 on the ask, 30,000. Pre-market, you can't put stops in there. You gotta do mental stops on that. We have news on INMB. INMB care PC trial of INQ mean and metastatic castration resident prostate cancer meets endpoints and is closed to enrollment. I mean, that's not much of news, but yeah, I mean, if you got in on that pullback right there and got in right here, if you got in on that pullback right here and you got in on the break of this right here, you could have gotten stopped out right there. I probably, more than likely, I would have gotten stopped out and then tried on the break of this right here on this green candle. I'm kind of sitting in limbo. That would have been 328 target, which it definitely got. I saw an 80,000 order on 324. Yeah. 60,000, 80,000, 70,000. So it's getting eaten up. I mean, realistically, if we go to 318, it could probably go down. Yep. It looks like it's kind of stalling out. Session VWAP on the 5 minutes looking good. We made a higher low, but not a higher high. We didn't break that 340 mark. We needed to break the 340 right up in here. Try to run to 3.5. I mean, we could still possibly do it. We got an ATR of 18. See, have an ATR of 18. It is the one with the top volume. And it looks like the shorts are starting to pile in, trying to pull this thing down. If you look at the volume right here, volume right there, that's volume. So if I would not try to get in on that bounce on the session VWAP, I mean, no, on the 9 EMA, just because of the volume's a little high. Take a look at the system. AIMD hit RVOL. RVOL's a little low, but it does have news. At 8 o'clock news, INOS reserves FDA approval to initiate clinical study of Veldona for primary syndrome. Okay. AIMD. INMB. Yeah, 5-minute topping tail on AIMD, which was a big spike down on the red, a big, huge red candle with massive volume. Not looking good. That's not ideal setup. INMB is above the session VWAP. Looks like they're trying, but the previous 5-minute did not make a higher high. Does not mean we can't run, and it looks like they're going to be trying to run it now. Let's see if we can break 340. If we can break 340, that would be awesome. At 335. 336. Yeah. It just went from 336 to 327 real quickly on the level 2. That is a little concerning. We've got more sellers. We got more buyers over there now, so it's kind of like going back and forth. Nice big battle. Got 330, 331, 333. I'm thinking if we get 340, we could spike up real quickly. We hit 340. We're going to spike up to 3.5. Are we? 347. We got 350, so that's definitely 340 to 350. Got yourself 10 cents. 353. INMB is definitely good. INMB. We had news hit at 8 a.m. We're up 35%. We got a float of 18 million. We got an RVOL of 21 cents. RVOL of 21 cents, so this is looking good. So INMB, connect WebSocket, test WebSocket. Already done the WebSocket connection stuff. INMB is 349, 350. I mean, here's the thing. If you broke, if you got in down here on the break at 322, you're definitely up about 30 cents. So you're up here at 3.5. 3.5 is a $0.50, which is pretty substantial. So how you really want to play this is you want to protect your profits. If you got in down here and you're up here and you're putting in these little doji candles, you want to book a little bit of profits, put a little bit of money in your pocket, and then kind of put a mental break even down here. If we start, if we come back down to the non-EMA, you could probably add to it, get your cost average a little bit. It would go up a little bit, but you try to get off that bounce and try to make a little bit more money. But also, if you're holding 50% of it, I mean, you can sell a quarter up here and hold 75, but sell half, hold 50%. If that's what you want to do. And you've already made some profit, so you're in a profitable trade. You can't lose. You're winning. So how much money can you make? Well, we're holding the 3.5. And if we go to 3.5, are we going to run to $4? Well, we are not too sure because right here is where we're at. We're at 3.5. I mean, could we run up to $5 to the resistance up here? Sure. But we don't know that. But right now we're holding. Right now we're holding the 3.5. this is a pretty good trade. Now, we had a spike up here, and then we had some high volume right in here. We had I had a break of that right there. Now, if you got in there, you probably would have gotten stopped out down here. But then we had another run up, and we had another micro pullback, and the volume was kind of drying up. And then we had a break of this candle, and we got in pretty good. And the volume lower. The volume with this was high. So if you went in here, that's a little concerning because the volume was pretty high. You probably would have gotten stopped out. You wait for it to pull up. You get in here, right here. Get in like right. No, I don't want to do that. Stop that. Might be KR. Stop that. Okay. Move that trend line right there. Got a little bounce off the 9 EMA right there. Bam. Right here. Okay. So right there, we got the break of that right there. Here, let me put a little note right here. See. Right here, we had a pullback to 9 EMA. If you look at that, the volume not as high as this right here, which is good. So that was the biggest play. Was that right there? Was the INMB? It hit the RVOL. INMB. Let's see. Let's put a little note right here. Let's see. It was an RVOL movers. RVOL movers. That showed up right around in here. It was an RVOL movers. So it showed up probably like right up in here. See, if you're at like let's round this up to about 15 cents. So if you're up here at like let's say you got in at 315, the ATR, let's say 15 cents would be a $3 stop. It came down pretty close to it, but it didn't hit it. Could have got in at 315 and ran this thing all the way up to like 3.5. So that's pretty good move right there. But see, here's the thing. When you get in, when we ran up here and we extended from the 9 EMA and we have a deviation of probably about maybe a 2 standard deviation from the ATR, and it pulls back to the 9 EMA, you don't get in full size. That's the thing. You don't get in full size. Let's say your average, let's say you're building an account and your average is 1,000 shares. And you can get in like 200 shares. You're a starter there. Okay, so now it came back here and you're down like about 10 cents. So you're probably down about a few bucks. Okay, but if you were in full size, okay, right here I'd be thinking about uh selling about a little bit more. I mean, you might get a little profit taken right there. But you get in like maybe a quarter of your size, and then once it breaks this, then you can get in like your more of your average size, and then you got to run up. And then once we broke the 340, you could have added more to try to get to 3.5. So that's how it's played, because if you're wrong here and you get stopped out, it's not going to be as bad holding 200 shares as it would be holding 1,000. You just do a starter, go in light on those pullbacks. Those non-EMAs, these non-EMA trades the EMA bounce trade is not meant to be a full-size trade. It's meant to be starters. SNGX hit the R vol of 10. That's with 140 SNGX with 143,000 volume. SNGX, if IB will update, Lightspeed will have already updated like a splits, like half a second. Okay, I mean SNGX that showed up earlier. If you were looking at SNGX, that was SNGX. If you were looking at that earlier, that would have been a nice little trade right there. You were making on a 5-minute. You're making higher highs, higher lows. So this is kind of hard. I mean, we had a run up here, and then we had a little pullback right up in here. That's kind of hard to play. We got good volume being kicked in. Right up in here, we have the volume. But right here at 320, right here at 320 is right there at 320, which 320 is this break right here. So at 320, that we have a nice break right there. And we ran up to 340. So you could have gotten yourself 20 cents out of that trade. Now, how you can play that is we have right here 313. So we have a high of 313. So if you break 314, which is right up in here, that's a break of this 5-minute candle. You need to do a starter there and then try to get a little run up. And then once you break the 320, then you can add to it. And you got yourself a nice 20-cent run. That was SNGX on an R vol. SNGX. So I am 830. Yeah. So we got INMB. We had INMB. That was an R vol mover. And we've got SNGX. EX. That was an R vol mover. That was an R vol mover at around 827. 87. And then we had INMB. INMB. That showed up around 804. Around 804. 804 that showed up. So you got a really decent trade on INMB. Maybe you got stopped out here, made a loser. Maybe you got in this one, made a winner, made your money back. And then you got SNGX, 250,000, RVOL of 5.8. RVOL is kind of low, but SNGX is come on, IB. I know you can do it. Lightspeed would have already done it in like 250 milliseconds. Because their platform travels at the speed of light. All right. How you like that humor? I know you do. Okay, so SNGX showed up on the Orval scanner at 827, roughly around right about here. Actually, yeah. So you could have played the break of this 5 minute right here, 313. Could have break of 314, but you gotta keep an eye out on the level 2. SNGX is definitely pulling back. INMB has pulled back below the EMA and below the session VWAP. That's a little concerning, but we got a little support around that area where it's at now. So it looks like the non-EMA is crossing over on the session VWAP. That is definitely not good. But this right here was definitely running up. So yeah, so 2 decent trades. We have Verb, 15 Arval, Verb. Well, where's your buddy, the noun? The verb is running, the verb. We got that. Oh boy, if you were looking at that earlier, remember the verb? Remember the verb? Verb is the word. Guess what? That was on our watch list down here. So that was the morning four stock that we're watching. This was down here. You get a break of that. You get a break of that right there. That was get a break of 1991. Get a break of 1992. Try to run up. Oh, that was easily $1. But the problem with Verb, and here's the main thing. Look at that. Look at the spread on that thing. Yeah, it ran up $1, but the spread on that thing was crazy. It's jumping around from 15 to 30. You get in 1,000 shares, you're already down like $200-300. I mean, how you gonna? Yeah. So that's not good. Just because the set's up and it's looking good and it's looking like it's going to pop, look at that, $1 spread. Man, stay a heck away from that. 50-cent spread, you better stay away from that. You better take that off your charts there, Chris. Take that off your charts. Let's go back to SNGX. It's bouncing off the session VWAP. SNGX. Let's take the verb. The verb is the word, but no. Spread's too high. Spread's way high. Spread's way high. Yes, it was on the list, but you got to be careful with the spread. Let's just get that thing off of there. Let's get that thing off there. Let's just put the SPY on there. See, even the SPY, you can play these whoops. Whoopsie. That was a whoopsie. Okay. A couple cups of coffee's kicking in. Verb, get your little ugly booty out of there. Okay, let's look at the SPY. The SPY, I mean, hey, if you want to play an ETF, play an ETF. Look at this. We got a little run up, a little bounce off the 9 EMA. We're making higher highs, higher lows on the 5 minute. Get in on the break of that. And kind of run up a little bit. A little bit too rich for my blood, but hey, let's look at the TQQs. The TQQs, the triple Qs. Yep, that kind of looked like the same. We looked at the triple Qs and kind of look at this. We had a run up. We had a little micro pullback. You get in at 84.83, get out at 84.90. I mean, hey, get you a little bit of money. And you kind of ran up and kind of came back down here again. A little volume on that selling is a little high. But came back down here on the touch of 9 EMA. Maybe you can put your stop down here at this low, 84.81. Get in like 84.86. Get about 5-cent stop, and 84.86 go up to get you about 10 cents right there. Hey, if you like ETFs, go for it. SNGX. Let's take a look at that. SNGX. It's already been played. SNGX has already been played. We have INMB. INMB has already been played. I will be right back. Alrighty. Let's see. What's going on? We had BLDE that made a little run. That was about it. We got SNGX selling off. We had that pop on SNGX selling off. The SPY is kind of coming back down to the session VWAP. We had BLDE kind of do its thing a little bit, not much. Get rid of that spike there. Yeah, we kind of did a little thing right there. It ain't much going on. I mean, you could have played the break at 484 if you like the break 485. You probably could have played that right there. Maybe played the break right there, 486. Run it up, get yourself about 5 cents. But that was BLDE. BLDE blah, blah, has an ATR of 3 cents. I mean, come on. We got the verb that's running, but the verb, SONN, hit the RVOL scanner. Ooh. That is a massive, massive RVOL. 32. But we got some huge topping tails in that 1 minute. You stay away from that turd. SONN is a turd. You stay away from that turd. It has no catalyst, no news. BLDE has an ATR of 3. We had news for BLDE 815 Jobby Aviation while acquiring the Blade Air Mobility makes blah blah blah. We have verb. Verb is the word, but verb, as you can see, is pumping at 168 ATR. The only thing I didn't like about verb, look at that spread. The verb spread, look at it. It tightened up. But when we were up in this area, right up in here, that thing was like 50 cents. It was spiking up to $1. I didn't like that. So, I mean, what you could do, I just don't trade this just because I don't trust it when it has huge spreads like that. I just don't like it. We had a run up. We came back down to the non-EMA. You could have gotten in on a spike of 1908 and ran it up to 1928, got yourself 20 cents. But then again, are you going to get stuck in like a 20, 30 cent spread? I mean, you possibly could. Look at that verb jumping back up to 25. It was like 2 cent spread. No. Stay away from it. I mean, there's better stocks. There's better stuff to trade. Stay away from that turd. I mean, you got SNGX, you got IB. Interact Brokers is not updating like Lightspeed does. You got SNGX. The problem with this is that the play was right up here. It was right up in here. We're making higher highs, higher lows. The play was right here. The play was right here. You could have played in on the break of this 5-minute candle at 314. You look at the level 2, make sure level 2's telling you to go, and then you got a break of 321. Got a break of 321, which is this break of this high. You could have added to the position, get on in on that. You know, I'm kind of looking at other things as well, like this 320 and coming down to 3, kind of get yourself a little change right there. Here, let me zoom in. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at to try to play. Okay, so when you have a candle like this and you have a break right here of 320, when you have a break of that right there, the 320, I'm looking to get in on the break of that. Non-EMA is sloping up, and we had a small little spike down, little tail at 317. That would be like a 3 cent stop. That spreads like a penny. So you try to get yourself 320, get yourself a little bit of change there. SNGX has a ATR of 7. So if you kind of got in on this right here at 319, your stop would be at like 317, about 7 cents, and then your first target would be 7 cents, and then you kind of hold it. And of course, we kind of spike down to the non-EMA, and then we kind of running back up. It's all about riding the momentum. If you're going to be a Momo trader, you got to take quick profits. Quick profits. Get out quickly when you're wrong and take your profits when they're good. Pre-market is kind of scary because you really can't move to a break even when during market hours. It's real easy for my hotkeys, especially with Lightspeed. The way I have it set up, I can just be like Shift H and sell half, and go strictly to Shift B to break even, or Shift B break even, then start selling, sell half, sell quarter, sell half, SQ quarter, SH half, sell quarter, sell half, sell quarter, sell quarter. It's easy. Got yourself a little spike right there. We had a pullback. We had a pullback here, and if you noticed, the volume. We had a run up, and we had a pullback. Volume was kind of going lower. Kind of right there. You see that going lower? It's going lower. That candle was pretty big, but then it was kind of going lower. A little wedge right there, a little break of that. SNGX. SNGX. Look over to the left. There is no catalyst. There's no news that I know of that's going on. So what's making this move? We have no idea. I don't know. There could be news out there, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting it. IMAB was played last week. I wonder what old IMAB is going to do. Look at SNGX. SNGX was played a little back. Look at Mama. My mama has showed up. Look at that. MAMA. Mama has showed up. Mama showed up. Remove all trend line. All trend line. So that's what I was looking at right here on the 5-minute. Volume was kind of drying up. Break that right there, and you're getting ready to reclaim the session VWAP. I got in on the break of 320. 320 was right here, so the break of that kind of ran up a little bit. We kind of spiked down. But if you get in at 320, your stop, SNGX had like a 7-cent. Now it's 8-cent ATR. I mean, yeah. Right now, we kind of broke 3.5. We're kind of running. Look at the level 2. We got 372. Get to 375. We got 375. Can you get to 380? I don't know what kind of news is out there with SNGX. SNGX hit the R vol again. We got a 500,000 volume coming in. We got the volume traded as 4.6 million. SNGX, we got a float of 3 million, so it's already round tripped once. It's already round tripped once. We already played SNGX at 827, which was right here. If you held that, you're looking really good. We got the server being hammered again. Look at that. Look at my 8 cores just getting slaughtered. 8 cores is getting slaughtered. We're churning through like 3,000 stocks. The server is getting slaughtered. We got the WebSocket system is still running pretty good. You know what I need to do? Once we get this thing kicked off, what I need to do is I need to make just a server for the WebSocket, just a WebSocket server, so we can have that up and running. And then the churning through of all the thousands and thousands of stocks that we're trying to get some trades on. Well, I can put that onto another server, have like a, instead of an 8-core, have maybe like a 16-core system. That would be good. We've got HLVX. with a massive 2 million volume and the RVOL of 488. HLVX, what do you look like? You look like a turd to me. HLVX does not look like anything is going on. $2 stock, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Why did it show up? Why? Got news at 8:33, causing concern to boost download Q2 results, blah, blah, blah. But why did it show up? I have no idea. Go on back to SNGX. INMB is trying to make a comeback. Trying to reclaim that 9 EMA. You trying to make a comeback? Trying to be a comeback kid? That ain't gonna happen. Oh, it could. Yeah, we had a run up here, and we had. I mean, you can get in on these little spikes right here on the downward, but that's not close enough to. That's 357, but I'm at 350. That's about 5 cents away from the EMA. But we're kind of putting a little doji up there. We got profit taking up in here. This is what this is, profit taking. Hopefully some of y'all are in on that. If you look at the 5 minutes, we were coming back down. We're having a pullback on the 5 minute. We didn't make a lower low on this candle, and then when we broke the high, we just took off. We just took off right here. That's what that is. Had a high of 319, a break of 320, which was that right there, a break of that. Kind of took off. We had good volume. Look. Okay, this candle right here, we had the volume right there. That's pretty decent volume. Let the volume rising. See all that? See that volume? Is lower or equal. That's good. When you see that, you got volume coming in. Got pull back to 9 EMA. 9 EMA is sloping upwards along with the candles. Get in on the break of that of 335. Get yourself a nice little pop. Or you could have played the break of the 5 minute at 320. Get in a little early. Get a little starter position. Get in a little bit early. Then you can add to it as it really climbs and breaks this area, which was 331, which was that other 5 minute candle. Broke. Got the SPY trying to reclaim the session VWAP. It's right there. It's kind of bouncing off of it a little bit. We got the prices being streamed. Got streaming prices, so the WebSocket system is looking good. I need to slow it down a little bit though. HLVX, I don't care about you, quite honest. HLVX, you look like a turd. You look like a turd. SNGX. That was a nice trade. Move all trend lines. INMB was a good one too. I had a micro pullback right here. Get in on the break of that of 380. Got yourself 10 cents out of that break. Hopefully, oh, look at that. Look at that, 250,000. 386. That was a lot of selling up in there. People taking profits probably. Look at the 5 minute, higher highs, higher lows. or extended off the session VWAP, or extended off the non-EMA right here, we could possibly get a pullback right down here to 375. But if we break, I'm thinking if we break that 370, which don't look like we're doing, we're climbing. $395 at the $4 mark. We hit $4. We didn't spike through $4. A little concerning. Look at this seller right here at 392. These sellers right here, 394. Yeah, look at that, 4.402. Can we get 410? Get up to 410. 397. $40,000, $30,000 volume on 395. All right, since we hit the whole $1.04 and we're not really climbing, busting through it too heavily, that's just people taking profits, or the short's going to try to pile in on this. What you want to take a look at? You want to look at the 5 minute. 5 minutes making higher highs, higher lows. We're putting in a top and tail on the previous 5 minute right there, about half of it. You got to look at the volumes. The volumes right here on the 1 minute. That's huge. That's picking up. The volume on this was huge. That was picking up. And then we had a pullback and kind of dried up. And then we had another pop. This, and we got a shooting star right up in here. Boom. Shooting star right there. We're breaking the low of that. So if we break the non-EMA, we close below the non-EMA, we could be going back down a little bit. We got 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Don't know what's going to happen. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. What's our biggest volumes? What's the biggest volumes? Oh, okay. I need pre-market volume. What's pre-market volume looking like? Let's see. Pre-market volume. We have INMB, pre-market volume is the best. Then we have PBM. Then we have SNGX. We got some pretty good volume coming in. You might want to keep those on your list. Got INMB, PLDE we want to take off. So this is what we have INMB as the highest volume right now. We have PBM. PBM is a good one, but that's below the session VWAP. SNGX is above the session VWAP. INMB is below the VWAP, so maybe we want to go to SNGX first, and then we'll go to INMB. INMB, that's below the session VWAP. I really don't quite like that. I just don't like playing stuff that's below that. We have SNGX. That's when we already looked at that. We have BCDA. That's below the session VWAP. We have Rappel. Rappel didn't even show up. That's because it's a turd. We have Verb as the word, but Verb has got a huge spread. We got HLVX. It's a turd. It ain't got no volume. We got BLDE that showed up. That's okay. It's a BLDE that might run. SNGX is looking like the most promising one. SNGX is the most promising one. We got 40% with a float of 3.3 million. We got 300,000 volume. The session volume is the highest. No, it's third highest. Got around 8 million on session. Pre-market session, so that is looking good. So this is what I'm looking at. We got the SPY reclaiming the session VWAP. I'm not going to drag this back over here. So SNGX, when the market opens, if it stays above the session VWAP, that could be a decent play for market hours. We don't know. But what we do know is when market hours comes up, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking off the pre-market. Our vols will probably stay there. We're going to do low floaters and top traded. We're going to take this off right here. Top press releases. We're just going to take that off because we get the news right up in here anyways. We're just going to go ahead and take that off. That's what we got. That's what that looks like. That's what we have. Alrighty. You know, we got SNGX as that made some pretty decent trades on that. Where's that? More adapter. Not. What we can do here. Allow accessories to connect to you. Want blah 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 stream. I am doing it. Hopefully this will. Let's see if we can do this real time. $906. All right. There we go. SNGX is moving down. Alrighty. We got pullback on SNGX. Look at the volume there. Volume's drying up, but the volume is pretty high on that pullback. I don't like that. If it was below that volume was below this right here, that would be okay, but that volume is kind of high. Don't like that quite that much. See what we got here. Let's see what we have. Got SNGX. I possibly just wouldn't do anything until the market opens. SNGX is looking good maybe for the market open, but we don't know. See, this is the thing. You might have 4 of these that you're looking at. And then the one that you think is going to look good and be a good market hours trade, it just sells off in tanks. You just don't know. That's the thing. You just do not know. Let's see what the futures is doing. The futures moving up slightly. BLDE was on there. That's kind of not looking too hot. SNGX is trading below the 9 EMA. It's trying to reclaim it. It's above the session VWAP. Kind of bounced off, kind of tagged the VWAP right down in here. Kind of had a small bounce off of it. 20 minutes till the open. Let's take a look at this. SNGX has got some decent volume in pre-market. PBM had some volume in the pre-market. PBM had volume in pre-market. Let's take a look at PBM. That's below the session VWAP though. That's the only bad thing. SNGX kind of popped a little bit. BCDA had other decent volume. That's below the session VWAP. Verb had a high spread. I don't like that. Really, the only thing that I'm really liking when the market opens is SNGX, to keep an eye out on it and see if we can't get a micro pullback or an EMA bounce on the pre-market. As long as it's trading above the VWAP, we're decent, and above the non-EMA, you can get a bounce off the non-EMA, maybe for an EMA bounce trade. Remove all trend lines. That's about it. Other than that, we ain't looking too swift. We're not looking too hot. What we got here? Trying to check light speed again. I don't know when the money's going to hit. It needs to hit soon, though. Funding, yes, I'm trying to do the funding. Let's see. Okay, so the money has gotten out of the account. So it should be good by tomorrow, later today. It might even possibly be later today that it's good. So tomorrow morning, it looks Yeah, so I transferred that in there. That should be good. Maybe later today or tomorrow for Lightspeed. I could possibly be streaming on Lightspeed and be able to be back trading tomorrow morning. That will be good. Right now I'm in limbo. All right, so now I'm going to transfer the rest of my money out of Interactive Brokers and just throw it in my account. Just throw it in the checking account. Hmm. I have SNGX. What's the RVOL on that? We got a 15-cent 1 minute. Well, I'm not RVOL, ATR. We got a 15-cent ATR on SNGX. That's pretty nice. That means we can make a little bit of money. Verb, I do not like your spread. You can keep that. LDE. Got 15 minutes to the open. Seems like this is the WebSocket is doing good. The prices are still updating. We got 3,000 FLGC. Uh, FLGC. I don't know what's up with that. That was a little crazy. That's nothing. I don't know what's going on with that. IMAB. There's nothing. PBM. There's nothing. SNGX is what we were looking at. Verb is moving, but I don't like the spread on that. I mean, if you look at Verb, I mean, Verb's got 20-cent spread, 12-cent spread. It just jumps all around. I just don't like that. You know, when I see stuff like that, I just stay away from it because you don't know. I've gotten caught up too many times on the wrong end, and I just don't like it. So I just stay away from it. Plus, we had look at the 5 minute; it's just selling off below the VWAP, trying to reclaim the VWAP, which is fine. Uh, I am letting other people play with that thing, but not me. I really need to update the volume here instead of the 1 minute volume. I need to do the session volume. So if it's pre-market session, do the total of the pre-market session volume. Look at that, Verb is going crazy. Got Verb on news at 827 for the news on Verb, but the spread of, I mean, this would be a decent if the spread wasn't so bad. That would have been a decent trade right up in here when we saw it. That would have been a nice 50-cent move. You know, 1,000 shares have been $500 right there. But the problem is the spread was a little too high. Plus that right there. I mean, got like 20 all the way down here to yeah. That is just really big. Uh, wouldn't have traded that. Would have waited for a pullback and maybe a trade of that, which was 1785 to like 18, maybe a dollar, but you got 19, you got yourself a dollar, but not ideal. That's the problem. I mean, on that pullback, the volume was kind of a little bit drying up, and then at this right here. But that volume on that last candle right there was kind of high. So, it's little, when you see that right there, when you see the volume on the red and you're trying to play an EMA bounce, you do not want to see big volume like that. You don't want to see big volume like that on that candle that's bouncing off the non-EMA. You want to see light volume like down here. Then get on the break, and then your stop would be the ATR. But then again, it's got a huge spread. I just don't like it. It they fake you out. They all of a sudden see a 2 cent spread, and people get in. Next thing you know, you're filled at like 20 cent spread. I mean, and then you're down $200, and you're like, "What is going on?" And that's because the market maker screwed you. That's why. I've been screwed too many times. I don't fall for that trick no more. I just let the trade pass. I don't care if it's an A+ setup. When the spread's jumping around, acting all nutty, I just stay away from it. I don't care if it's an A+ setup. Do not care. SNGX. SNGX is looking good. I mean, if you got SNGX, PBM, you got Verb, you got the SPY right here. You got to keep this list updated of the stuff that you're looking at. Market's going to open up in about 10 minutes. 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So I have SNGX. SNGX. I was looking pretty decent. On my my Lightspeed account, on my Lightspeed, I got the setup the setup is a little bit different. SNGX is breaking new highs on the pre-market. Take this out of here. On the Lightspeed, I got to set up a little bit different. Right there by the level 2, I got 4 windows that of 4 stocks that I keep a lookout on. And that's what I want to see. I might update the software to actually do some charting. I wanted to try and play around with some charting, but the problem with that, I mean, I've got the streaming data. I've got the streaming, which is good. That's going to help with the update of the charting, but I need to really figure out how I want to write the logic for that. So what we could do is you could have, let's say you want to like click on SNGX, and then a little window, like a small thumbnail window will pop up with like the 1 minute, and then you can do that for whichever ones you're looking at, and then you can drag them around to where you want. But there's no need for me to spend the time writing that logic if nobody's going to be really using it. So time can be spent somewhere else making it better. Got Verb that had a pullback on 1 minute and it popped. But then again, I just don't like that spread. Spread, you can get screwed on that. See right here. I had it run up, had it pull back. As you can see, I'm kind of dried up. You probably get in on the break of that high of 1550, and then you're already up like 40 cents, and spreads like 20 cents. So yeah, I mean, you can do what you want. If we get a break if we get a break of 16, we probably could try to hit the VWAP of 1660. Where's the VWAP? VWAP is 1669, 1670 would be the VWAP. So we don't know. Got nice volume on the 1 minute for Verb. If you did take that micro pullback and bounce off the EMA, which that volume right there really shouldn't be taken unless you get that break, which is that high 1551. But see, now we got slammed back down. So you took a little bit of profit. We hit resistance. We're just pulling back down. And if you look at the 5-minute, chart, as you can see here, kind of like bouncing off the VWAP. It's just not good. That's why there's weakness there. That's why you see the little pullback, because there's weakness. We had a run off, we had a sell off, and then we had a little bounce, and we'll probably have another sell off. That's my analysis. This sell off is like a micro pullback of, like you would have like a micro pullback and then a run back up. That's what this is. Sell off, then a micro bounce, and then probably sell off again down in here. That is what I'm thinking will happen. Who knows? We have SPY. SPY's looking pretty decent. SPY's looking pretty decent. So I could be up on Lightspeed about tomorrow, which would be good, because Lightspeed took the money out of my account and put it into theirs. I'm just waiting for the system to be updated, the trading system to be updated, and we should be good to go. About 5 minutes to the open. SNGX is looking halfway decent. SNGX could be a decent trade when the market opens. You definitely want to keep that on your list, though. On the four stocks that you need to be looking out for, you definitely want to be looking out for SNGX. Now, Verb could tighten up when the market opens up. That spread could tighten up, which would be nice. But on pre-market, the spread's jumping all around. You can get screwed on that. Let's look at the futures and see what they're doing. Futures is just kind of grinding. Little grind up, little grind up. We're not spiking, we're not gapping up or down, which is okay. I mean, but we had a big sell-off past 2 trading days. We had a pretty big sell-off. On the futures, I'm looking at a bullish engulfing that happened on the 31st. So, and we had a big sell-off with volume on those 2 days. So, who knows? You have to think about the sentiment of the market. And also, we got to look at the, you want to go financialjuice.com. I don't know. No. Financial Juice is giving me a pop-up, which I'm not signing, I'm not doing anything, and then it won't let me go to the site, so goodbye. SNGX is really the one that's looking good. We have PBM, we got INB PBM. SNGX, INMB, and PBM are ones that have moved up and got the top 3 for the highest volume traded in pre-market. So that is good. So these 3 right here are the ones that have the biggest volume in pre-market. The only one that really looks good is SNGX. And the reason I say that is because it's above the session VWAP of pre-market. So the market's getting ready to open up in about a minute and a half. You want to sit on your hands for about the first 5 minutes and see where it's going to settle down. Market's going to open up in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds as of right now. Go ahead and take off the pre-market. We're going to bring up the low floaters. This is a list. Low floaters. Arval down here. But the biggest gainers right there are top traded. We look at the biggest gainers. The list will update. Market's open. SNGX seems like it kind of held up. It didn't spike down. PBM is running down. The SPY is running up. Let's take a look at this right here. TQQQs. The triple Qs is, as you can see, it's kind of ran up. We have PBM that kind of spiking down, running down. We got SNGX that's below the 9 EMA. We might be able to run down to the VWAP and get a bounce off of that. We don't know yet. INMB is kind of sideways. You want to let the market settle down. These low floaters right here, this stuff is like as usual, the RVOLs is going to be spiking during pre-market. So you just kind of want to sit on your hands and wait at least 3 to 5 minutes. Wait for the market to settle down. We got biggest movers. This is updated, I think. I mean, we want AMPX if we want, but there's probably nothing there. There's nothing there. CRML. There's nothing there. And we got HEPS, and there's probably nothing there either. HEPS, we got a little bit of movement. We have SNGX is bouncing off the session VWAP. SNGX is bouncing off the VWAP, hopefully. That might be able to be a decent trade. We got open, ATR of 2 cents, TMC, ATR of 5 cents. There's really nothing there. We have COMM with the catalyst and news. We got nothing there. TMC is selling off. SNGX is got INMB. We got the SPY that's spiking. PBM. PBM. SNGX just puked out. SNGX just took a puke. PBM is bouncing off the VWAP. I mean, as usual, you just want to sit on your hands for about the first 5 minutes. We had some decent trades earlier on INMB around 804, SNGX at 827. So the pre-market money was made, and when the money's made on the pre-market, if you're trading during market hours, you don't want to give it back. Don't give back your profits you made. If you're losing some, let's say you made some profits, and if you're trading market hours and you're giving back half of those profits, just my opinion, PBM looks like it's going to break the VWAP. It's trying. My opinion is just to walk away. You got to be disciplined. Walk away. If you're not disciplined, you're just not going to make it. Revenge trading does not work out. Get back some profits. So hopefully this will be the last day I'm streaming on Interactive Brokers. It looks like my Lightspeed account, the money has gotten taken out of my bank account and is being updated for Lightspeed. So hopefully everything is good to go. I talked to Lightspeed, the guy over at Lightspeed, and he said that my level 2 should just be activated as soon as it gets funded. So everything should be good. PBM, we had a micro pullback right here. We have volume that kicked in, and what you could do is get in on the break of that right there. Break of the $5 mark, and you're up like $5.35. That's a nice 20-30 cent trade right there. Now, how I play that in hotkeys, I'll go over how my hotkeys are set up with Lightspeed once that's activated. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow morning. How I like to play this on like this is a whole dollar mark on the 5 minute. We had a slight pullback here, and this candle right here, we actually pulled back to the non-EMA. If you look at what we had on our list, we had SNGX. SNGX puked out. INMB sideways. PBM, we had a nice little run. I didn't know PBM was going to run. I didn't know that. The SPY is running up. So this is what you want to look for. Higher highs, higher lows on this 1 minute. And then should have that on the side. The way I'm going to have Lightspeed, how I have that set up is I have the 1 minute here, the daily, the 5 minute, my level 2s right here. And also you're going to see 4 thumbnail charts that I have of 4 stocks that I will always be looking at. And then, of course, PBM would have been there. But you don't see that because it's kind of off my screen right now. But the way that I like to play this, I mean, this right here broke at 934. And with Lightspeed, what you want to do is when you get a break of that $5 mark, a micro pullback right there, volume is definitely running up. Is once it breaks and you're looking at level 2 and that's spiking, you're looking at the level 2 and it broke to like 5.25 or something up here, you can just do, the way I have it set up is Shift B, that will automatically move you to a break even. And then you can do Shift Q to sell 25% or Shift H to sell half. So when you get the spike, I mean, we ran it up to the spike. We got 5.25. We got 5.5. You can do, as we're spiking, you can move to a break even on market hours. Shift B, as we're spiking up to like 5.5. Shift H to sell half. And you're already in profits. You've moved it to a break even. So you're not going to let a winner turn into a loser. And then you play it from here. If we get a run down to the non-EMA, try to go for an EMA bounce. But if you do that, you got to make sure you look at this volume. When we're coming down to the non-EMA and you're looking to maybe, let's say you got, let's say you went in 1,000 shares on this break and you came up here and you sold half and you're holding 500. If we come down to the non-EMA, you can buy like 500 shares and your cost average would be right down in here. You always want to add to your winners and cut your losers. Like if we came down here, as we were breaking and we came down here, cut it. Cut your losers. PBM, the update that I did on the software, PBM looks like we're having an ATR of 15 cents. I mean, it's being updated streaming. Biggest movers is being updated streaming. Let me check to make sure that all of this is working. Pre-market we know was working. The RVOLs, there's nothing there right now. Low floaters, we know that's updating from the server, from the socket server. Biggest movers, low floaters is updating. Top traded. Let's look at top traded. Make sure that's being updated. That looks like it is being updated. Everything looks good on the update that I did. Okay. All right. That looks good. Now, if for some reason we have RVOL, ZEPP with a news that came out 8/28, Zep Health Corporation, Q2, it's just earnings. It's just earnings. ZEPP. How much volume there? That's the problem. Not much volume. Just pull back. You can look for a bounce off of the non-EMA, but the thing is this volume. The volume is a little much, and we got that high volume right there. But if you pulled back right here, you get a bounce off 5 1/4, be up like 10 cents right now. And then you can shift B to move to a break even in case we spike down. The money was made on this move right here, the break of the 5. And how I built this list right here, SNGX we had, I thought that would be a runner, but as usual, like I said earlier, we don't know. It could open up and we could run down, and that's what we did. But SNGX was high volume, was a leading volume, and the or second leading, and the volume of the pre-market. So that's why we put that on the list. And INMB was running up as well in the pre-market. Let's look at pre-market. So we had SNGX, PBM, Verb, and INMB. So that's why we put them on there. Verb, I just didn't put on there just because I didn't like the spread. The market makers were being a little greedy. But this right here, we had the volume. The reason I put these 3 up here is because they were leading percent gainers, and also they were leading in the top 3 or 4 in volume for pre-market. So if pre-market volume is high, I want to put it on my list. Now, out of this 4 list right here, I didn't have a 4th one because there was really nothing there. Out of that 4 list, what you're looking for is just one good trade out of that list. And out of that 3, we got PBM as it started moving up. And that's what we got. We got higher highs, higher lows on the 1 minute. And then it kind of deviated. We had a micro pullback. Non-EMA is sloping upwards. We had a micro pullback right here. The micro pullbacks doesn't need to be a red candle. We had a little doji, little stall out right there. And you can, and also whole number right at $5. So if we look at the high right there, that was right at $5. So that is right there, $half, which would be 4.5, and whole dollar, which would be 5. Once you break that, and you need to look on the level 2 to be doing that. Once you see orders being eaten up in the ask and people slamming into the ask, people could be doing market orders. Just if you have a time in sales, which would be just solid green, that's this right here. People breaking that $5 mark and moving up. But you can look at the level 2 and then see. Now, if you look at the bid here, if you look at the bid, and there's like on the bid, you've got like maybe like at 496 or 495, you got a huge order sitting there. That could be support right there. So you kind of want to be looking back and forth. If you're breaking the $5 mark and it runs up to the 510, 520, and you're looking at the bid and you're seeing at like 505 huge order sitting there, that means that's support. Of course, it could be yanked and then, it just slam back down. Yeah, spoofing happens. It's illegal, but it does happen. But this is the run that was pretty nice. And this was the one good trade that gave it to us in the morning. Because SNGX, we had that on there, but SNGX didn't do anything. As you can see here, we opened up right here. And what did we do? We just sold off. We just puked out and just sold off. And now it's just consolidating. I wouldn't even think about that. And then we had INMB that was on the list. Well, INMB did basically the same thing. We just kind of opened up. We kind of slammed down. Yeah, we had a bunch of buyers coming in here. We didn't break it. We weren't moving above the non-EMA. When you're below the non-EMA, a lot of day traders and scalpers are using the non-EMA. So you kind of want to stay away from that one. So PBM was the ideal trade. Now we had here at 931, 932. You want to sit on your hands and see where it's going to go. I usually like waiting for 5 minutes, but when you see this right here, trading at a whole dollar mark, you can get in and get a quick scalp. Now, this right here, when I drew this right here, this was the volume, and that was these candles right here. That was a little concerning. So if you did try to play the micro pullback and then get in on the break of that high, I mean, you might have gotten stopped out, you might not, but you've already made your money here. So this setup right up in here is not ideal to me. The main thing is that red candle right there. That's not ideal. And we had a topping tail. So that's kind of a little bit bearish. And also, when did that happen? 936. So you're looking at 935 right here. You got a big topping tail in the 5-minute. Okay. That little concerning for long term. And we did kind of sell off, but we didn't know that it would sell off like this at the time. But if it's breaking the low, that's kind of like a shooting star candle on the 5-minute. If you break the low of that, that's not good. That was this right up in here. So if you made your money right here and you made yourself 50 cents on this move, that's great. And if you're trying to make more money in here and you're giving back profits, you got to walk away. You got to be disciplined, walk away. So earlier, what was this? PBM? We didn't even trade PBM pre-market. INMB we traded. INMB. That was traded. That was right up in here. right up in here, that was, it popped up on the RVol movers pre-market right here. And then kind of ran up, and then we kind of, as you see here, the volume, right there was kind of lower than this run up. Then we had a pullback to the 9 EMA. If you got in on that pullback, I think the ATR was like at 7 cents or something, 8 cents. It got really close to it, but you might have gotten stopped out. But then you had like a bar right here. If you look at that bar, this green bar right here, and the volume was kind of low. So we're thinking, okay, 9 EMA is sloping upwards. It was below the session VWAP, so you got to be careful and make quick profits. But you might have gotten stopped out right up in here, and then if you do play the micro pullback on the break of that, you got that maybe 25 cents right there. But like I've said, on the 9 EMAs right here, if you're trading 1,000 share position, you do not get in just 1,000 shares. You do a starter at 900, and if you do get stopped out, it's not that bad. And then you can play this right here again. Move all trend lines. So, and then the other trade was SNGX. SNGX. That was right up in here, I think. 827. Yeah, it was right up in here. And then we had a micro pullback and a break right there, and a small little scalp. But the volume was running up. That's what you want to see. So I believe PBM is done for. PBM, you made your money. You made your money, you're done. Now look at it. It's a turd. It's a turd. Bullish engulfing right there. Bullish engulfing. You look at that. That is a bullish engulfing candle, and all of that consolidation with volume. And we have more volume coming in. And then you had a little micro pullback right here. So pullback. Get in on the break of that. You're looking for 5.5. We have the SPY that ran up, and we're pulling back right now. So we had the SPY that kind of ran up. We had a micro pullback on the SPY. Got a break of that candle right there. Got a break of the high right there. Do a starter. If you trade ETFs, you can do a starter right there. You get the break, put maybe 500 right here. Another 500 shares right there, and you got yourself a nice little run. Close to $1 run. We have biggest movers. You got Jobby with Catalyst, Com with Catalyst, PLDE with news a little bit earlier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What you can do, move all trend lines. See, let's take a look at triple Qs, how that played out. The same thing on the triple Qs. This is looking even better on the triple Qs. Boom, you had a nice little run up. You had a micro pullback on the triple Qs. You can get in on right there. You can add to the position right there, and you got yourself a spike. 86. You got yourself about 50 cents right there. Trading 1,000 shares, $86,000. If you got a nice broker with the Forex leverage, you can get in on that trade. ETF. And we have a pullback. Looks like we're Could be pulling back below the 9 EMA and running down. VWAP, we've extended off of the session VWAP. As you can see right there. Remove all trend lines. So what you can also do is wait and see, these are the biggest movers. Change volume 75%, 13, 57%, but I am sorting it through volume right here. You can take the volume, you can be like, okay, I want to take a look at COM. I want to take a look at COM, see how that is. Let's say, take a look at Jobby. Is Jobby, look at that. Jobby ran up. We had a little micro pullback, had a little spike right there. All right, take a look at that SCS. That had the catalyst. SCS, kind of, look at that. SCS. And then we have BLDE. What does that stand for? Blondie? I don't know. I don't like that. ABAT was the next one. Don't like that either. The reason I don't like it is because look at the volume. The volume is like 300,000, 180,000. That's 1 minute volume. But we're looking at COM. If you look at COM, that's, let's bring this over here. We got the TQQs, a little pullback, a little 351. We got up to 361 maybe. High of 361. Got yourself a little 10 cents right there. 1,000 shares is a little $100 right there in the pocket, and move their break even. Let's take a look at this. So we had COM on the biggest movers. At COM, one of the biggest movers. That really wasn't showing anything. We had the market where it opened up right here, and then we had a huge spike down with volume. Yes, it's half of the previous 2 minutes, but I just don't like that. It's kind of a little whippy. And if you look at the 5 minute right here, that was just all consolidation. So COM, that was pre-market. It really wasn't moving. Then we had Jobby. At 9:30, we kind of spiked up. Catalyst 808, yeah, there's nothing there. Jobby 909, Jobby Aviation to acquire Blades passenger business. Okay, that's an acquisition going on with Jobby. We have BLDE. I don't like that. Look at the volume. Sucks. JOBY's got some decent volume. And look at the volume. Volume's right here. 500,000. Yeah, the volume is definitely there. So we had a run up here. And then you had a little pullback there at 935. So what you can do is get in on the high. Let's say $20 break right there. Your stop is down there at 1970. Jobby's got a 20-cent ATR. So when you get a break of that, you're looking for 20 cents, which you definitely got 20 cents right there on Jobby. That's a float of 450 million. It's kind of high, but hey, it's a $20 stock. 1,000 shares, $20,000. If you're over to PDT, you got that. You got yourself about $200 right there. That was Jobby that showed up on the scan, the biggest movers. What else? There's nothing there because if you look at this, the volume just kind of dried up. It's not there. The volume's not there. The volume's there for Jobby, but the volume is already played out. The volume's already played out. If you could have played the 5 minute break of that, 5 minute break of that high was 1989, 1990. 1990 is right here, so it's the break of this right here. But we had a little micro pullback right there. The volume was a little concerning with that. If you look at that, the volume was a little concerning. Volume was a little concerning. But the ATR is telling you is a 20-cent stop, 19-cent ATR. So, yeah, you got your pop. You got yourself your 20 cents. You're risking 20 to make 20. That's a 1-for-1 right there. We don't know. It could have ran even more up to 50 cents. We don't know. We take what the market gives us. Now, if we break the high of 1973. We could possibly go again. So you want to look at the level 2 and see what's going on with that. That's Jobby. SPY had a micro pullback. We look at SPY. That had a micro pullback. We're riding the 9 EMA right here, making higher highs, higher lows, except for that little hangman candle right there. So if we look at the TQQs, if we look at the Qs, the triple Qs, look at the triple Qs. We had run up, we had micro pullback, get on the break of that, stop right there, got a break of the high, go ahead and get your 1 for 1 right there. We got another micro pullback, get in right there, stop right there. What is that? That's 50 cents, 87, about 20 cents right there. So 70, 80, 90. Can we get 90 to get 20 cents? You got to look at the level 2 right here. Yep, you got yourself 20 cents right there. So you can go ahead and do Shift B, move to break even. Let's see, we got 1993. We got bids over here. We got the asks over here. We got about 20,000, 30,000 shares. ARCA, 86.95. I'm thinking if we break 86.75, which we're not even close to that, you want to be getting out. So that's how you really got to play this. I mean, you can play these ETFs. This triple Qs, the triple Qs is really, really nice. If you got the capital, it's really nice. It's a nice, slow moving juggernaut. And can you make money with that? Absolutely. 1,000 shares at like $87,000, $80,000. Yeah. I mean, if your broker allows you to trade with leverage and you got the capital to do this, do it. You can make money on these ETFs, these high dollar ETFs. Absolutely you can. Move all trend lines. Even go to the futures and trade that. The way I'm teaching people to trade, you can do the same thing on the futures. That's not a problem. You got COM trying to take it. You got COM. You got COM right here. The only problem is I just don't like the 5-minute. Plus, COM has got a float of 200 million. That's a big boy. Jobby's 400 million. That's a big boy. But Jobby, if we look at Jobby, Jobby is not that bad. Boom, boom, boom. See, we didn't get a break of that candle, that 5-minute, but we got a break of this one of 1959. So at 1960, which was right here at 1960, get a break of that. 1960, you're at 1975. You're at 1975, 1960, 15 cents. 1,000 shares, you make yourself a few dollars. You already shift B, move to break even, take a half off, move to a break even, get yourself a little bit. Let's see if it can, I mean, you're holding half. Let's see if it can run up to 20 and a quarter, then do a pullback, get yourself another little ABC pattern going on. I mean, that's what I like to do. You get in, you get a little bit of profit, you take a little bit and automatically move to a break even just in case it slams back down or out. Put yourself a little money in the bank. We got, was it SCS? Yeah, SCS was moving, kind of grinding up. SCS is 100 million. It moved 58% so far. We got ATR at 15 cents. SCS, let's take a look at that. SCS, how could we have played that? That's a little hard to play. A little hard. We got higher highs, higher lows. We're kind of falling out a little bit right there. We got the volume kind of, but that was a little hard to play right there. for me. For you, you might have been able to play the bounces off the non-EMA. A little hard for me to trade and kind of think of. SBET, we showed up on the biggest movers. SBET showed up on biggest movers. And we got some decent volume, making higher highs, higher lows on a 5-minute. The thing is, if you're looking at low floaters, you just got to stick with them. If you're looking at biggest movers, you got to stick with them. If you look at top traded, you just got to stick with that. Top traded is pretty nice because top traded shows high volume. The volume is there. And the percentage is going to be there because it's not going to show anything below 10%. Or at least it shouldn't. So BBAI was the top traded. Let's take a look at that. BBAI. BBAI, top traded. Don't want options there, IB. Yeah, that was a nice run. Look at that micro pullback. I had a slight little pop, micro pullback. We had a pop, micro pullback to the non-EMA. We broke that. We had a nice pop. BBAI was good. I mean, there's trades to be made. There's trades to be made. You just gotta. You can't jump all around. You can't be like, I'm going to do the top traded. I'm going to do biggest movers. I'm going to do the low floaters. You'll run yourself ragged trying to look at 8, 10 stocks. You're going to run yourself ragged. One good trade, get a handful of stocks, 4 of them, 4, 6. 6 at the most. My opinion, my honest opinion, is 6 at the most. And just work those 6. Out of those 6, you should be able to get an A+ setup. And with that, an A+ setup, if you're getting in on 1,000 shares and you make yourself 25 cents, that's $250. I mean, $250. Let's say you're picking 6 stocks. You only do one good trade a day, got yourself an A+ setup. Let's say you made yourself 25 cents. That's $250. Okay. Let's say you do that 3 times a week because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Maybe the 2 days, one day you won, the next day you lost, and it kind of wipes out the previous day winner. Let's say three good trades out of the week. Okay, that's $750 on a 52-week year. You're making about $40,000. There's people that live off of that. So, yeah. Okay, you got the SPY that's kind of grinding sideways. You probably have the triple Qs. NASDAQ's going to be grinding. Yep. So it's grinding sideways on the 1 minute. And if you look here, we had higher highs, higher lows, had a little inside bar right there on the 5 minute, but then we popped it. And now we got a doji at the top there, and we're kind of forming a doji on the 5 minute right now. Go ahead and zoom in on this. This is what we got. Looks like it could be stalling out. The volume's kind of drying up a little bit. It's 10 o'clock. If you look at the stats, most of the trades I bet you make are from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That's when the best trades are. I'm pretty sure. You had triple Qs. You had a run up, you had a micro pullback, you had a break of that, run up, another pullback to 9 EMA, break of that. We had a run up, micro pullback, but that had volume about the same. Volume on this pullback was about the same as this right here, so that's kind of equal. Pullback right here, but the volume was kind of high. That was a little concerning. But if it's still looking good and you still want to get in, don't get in your full position. Go in about half, because if you're wrong, you're not going to get clobbered. If you don't have an A plus setup and it's like an A or B setup and you still want to take it, just go in with lighter volume. Take a look. Document private. Oh, I'll just that then. All right, the triple Qs is kind of breaking down. So I kind of expected, because we had a little doji up there. We're kind of breaking down a little bit. Volume is coming in on that move down. We probably get down to I mean, the triple Qs, the VWAP is 85.88. So 85.88, 85.88. We're probably right down up in here. So if we can get a move back down to maybe this area right here, that's where the VWAP is. Go ahead. Ba, 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 ba. BBAI had news, so that's kind of why Big Bear AI stock plummeted last week. You need to tell us, you're the news people. You had Jobby, that was Jobby Aviation, that was a catalyst. Casey, we had that. Pharmaceutical announces FDA clearance for INDA application. So CASI has a catalyst. Only problem is 275K volume. Casey, I mean, it's still good. When did that news come out? That news came out at 9 o'clock. So right here we had a pop, we had a pullback. The volume kind of dried up. It looks like it kind of bounced off the 9 EMA. We had a little spike down, but that's to be expected right at 949. That kind of spiked down below that. That's a little concerning. But but if you waited for the break of the 2-bar break right here, you could get in on a 2-bar, what I call a 2-bar break right up in here. We got volume kicking in, so you got confirmation candle right there, bullish engulfing. It's engulfing this right here, so that's fine. Get in right there at 192, and your stop your first target is around $2 right up in here. That's CASI. We got an ATR at 16. So yeah, got yourself a little move right there. That's not a problem. You got volume in there, which is good. That's top trade. The top trade is usually pretty decent because there's volume there. There's good volume, and the biggest movers doesn't have to have high volume. I mean, We look at this. Let's try to see if something's there. The biggest movers. I thought I saw. Yeah, 73%. Yeah, 73%. But the volume is kind of like, yeah, that's COMM. COMM. I mean, yeah, there's volume there, not very much. Well, ONDS kind of showed up. Well, we have ONDS. ONDS, yep, we got a little move right there. We got a pull back right up in here. You could have gotten in on the break of this right here at 250. That's a $half mark. You're at 255. You got 5 cents. Thousand shares. Got yourself $50. You can move, sell half, move to break even. That's on biggest movers. BBAI, that's the one. I don't want ones. Okay, so we had a move on BBAI with top traded. Casey, we had BTBD. That's a little hard to play. That's a little hard to think about how. I mean, right here, you had higher highs, higher lows right here. So at 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock, you probably could have played right here. Maybe on this right here, you had an inside bar. You 486 and about to. So yeah, that could have been played a little bit. You got volume. Definitely got volume. You gotta be quick though. You gotta have these on. You gotta have these on a separate chart, and you gotta be looking at those for the setups. And when they're setting up, move over to here, and then execute your trades off the level 2. That's BTBD. BTBD. We have AEO. AEO. That just showed up. I wouldn't have traded that. That's because that just showed up. PBM. The float 700,000. We've already traded 35 million shares on that. That is massive. RGTI. Got a catalyst on RGTI. RGTI, we got a float of 300 million. 10%. 10 o'clock. Proprietary Computing Corporation is attracting investors' attention. Here's what you should know. Okay. That's in the top traded. That's moving up. We had a nice little run up here. We had a little pullback. Make about 10 cents right there. Not ideal trade though. Not ideal. Because look at that pullback on this right here. You got big volume going to the downside, so that's not ideal. I don't know what the delta is on that, but I can write some code to figure out the delta on that and show it, but who knows? We'll see what we do. We were looking at biggest movers. FFAI, Jobicom. Okay. But like I said, you just want to pick one. Take biggest movers, take low float gainers. You can take the top 3 of low floaters, take the top 3 of biggest movers, put them on chart on the other side right here, and then go from there. Like Jobby. Jobby just had a nice little bounce. And just keep like 6 on your watch list and keep a lookout on those. If you try to look at too much and try to look at all these scanners that I have, and you're looking at 10, 15, 20 stocks, you're going to drive yourself nuts. You're going to miss stuff. And you're going to be like, oh, if I only wish I would have traded that. It was on your list, but, 4 to 6 is the max that I really look at. 6 is the max that I've ever looked at. I've tried to do 8 and I just can't do it. 6 is the max, and all you're looking for is one good trade. But if you made your money into pre-market, you don't want to, if you start giving them back 25%, you really need to start thinking, do I really want to keep going? Give back half of what you made in pre-market. My honest opinion is you need to walk away, shut it down and walk away. Because if you can't, you're undisciplined and you're going to blow your account. That's why 90% traders fail. It's not because they don't have a good trading plan, it's because they're not disciplined enough. They can't control their emotions to trading when they give money back because they hate losing. I hate losing, and I had a problem with that trading because I do not like losing, so I was a bad trader in the beginning. But as a trader, you need to be a good loser. And what I mean by good loser is when you are wrong, you need to cut it quickly. Let's take a look at Jobby. Jobby was hard to play. And we looked at it earlier, and we get a bounce, and we get a break of the 1959, 1960, break of 1960, and then it ran up here to 1975. You got stuff about 10 cents on that 1960 break right there. Maybe probably like 5 or 10 cents to be quite honest, or even a break even. This is really hard to play. You can play the break of the consolidation here because you're running up on the non-EMA and you've got volume kicking in about right here, Try to get in. Earlier we were looking at it, so the earlier the play would be right here. Right here. You can jump down to a 30-minute, 30-second chart. Not sure where that was. That was right up in here. So we had a run up here, and then we had a micro pullback, and then a break of that right there. Had a nice run. That's on a 30-second chart. Unfortunately, Lightspeed, unfortunately, does not have second charts. And I wish they really would. I really wish they would. Because on 15, 30-second charts, you can really scalp some pennies out of there, go in high volume and scalp some pennies and really build it up. Yeah, Jabio was kind of hard to play. SPET, we had that on our list earlier. SPET, just grinding up. I'll be right back. Oh my God, I don't get to her. Well, that's true, but hey, yeah, yeah, you know our stand on that though. Alrighty, what we got here? About 30 more minutes. I'm going to be streaming for about 30 more minutes, and we're going to shut it down, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, and hopefully Lightspeed will be up and running, and we being able to make the trades. We got Jobby as the first one. We got Jobby leading on biggest movers with volume. With the volume, biggest movers for volume. We got Jobby leading. Well, if you guys did that, you made yourself a little bit of money, make yourself a little pocket change, a little 10 cents here, a little 10, 15 cents there. Make yourself some little pocket change right there, little pocket change right there, little pocket change right there, little pocket change right there. Let's say you got 10 cents here. Let's say you got a little, let's say you didn't make anything. Let me break even. Then you get yourself another 10 cents there. It's about 20 cents. 1,000 shares. $200. It all adds up. That's with Jobby. We got to float 400 million. Just because it has a high float don't mean you can't make money. We got a catalyst. 9 o'clock. We got a lot of news on Jobby. 9:09, 8:52, 8:15, 7:18, 7:10, 7 o'clock. Yeah, we had a lot of news coming out on Jobby. A lot of news coming out on Jobby. Let me take a look. Hopefully Lightspeed will be up and running later on today so I can get everything settled in for tomorrow morning. Don't look like it. It don't look like it. Oh well. We will be up and running with Lightspeed this week though. This week we will be good to go streaming on the new platform. Actually, it's a better setup. Executions on Lightspeed is amazing. You want to be careful on this right here. We got some volume coming in on that pullback right there. So you need to be careful with that. On this pullback right here, we had some volume coming in to selling. You had to be careful with that. And look at those two right there. Those two candles had some decent volume coming in. If they were down here about right here, that would be awesome for a nice little pop. But then look at this right here. This volume right up in here is not good. So if you got in here and you made your money and you took a little bit off, you want to be careful. If you sold half and you got to a break even, protect that break even. Just take your half and move on. Remember what I said about being a good loser. The market will teach you how to lose good. I mean, this right here, if you look at this on the 5 minute, this right here, this 5 minute candle, we're making higher highs right here. So on this candle right here, you could, at 10:15, you can start taking trades. That was this right here. That was this right here. You could have taken some trades on that. That was at 1980. and it ran up, and then it finally touched it right there at $20. So you easily got yourself 10, 15 cents out of that on the little run right there. And then this right here, this high of 1020 above what? Above 2019, above right here. We had a little micro pullback. Had a bullish engulfing candle right there. Had a micro pullback with a bullish engulfing candle with volume coming in. It got in on the break of the 2015. Got out here at 20, about another 15 cents right there. So yeah. So Jobby was definitely a one good trade winner. Because this right here is my list. COMM, selling off. That's a turd. Jobby, running up on the 1 minute. That's looking good. SCS kind of grinding sideways. That's just grinding sideways. That ain't doing nothing. Got the SPY that's doing this thing about grinding, a little pop and then sell off. So that's usual. It's at 10:30. So 10:30. Let's look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs had some trades earlier. Triple Qs had some trades earlier. That's a 30-second. I want to go back to a 1 there. All right. All right. All right. We had a little run up, a little pull back, a little bump, a little bounce and pull back, and now we just consolidating. So if you look at this, look at that, just consolidating. A little consolidation right there, a little up, down, up, down, up, down. A little consolidation. If you look right here, a little consolidation. You had a little doji candle, that 5-minute doji, and then you had a breakdown of that. I should have told you that we're probably either going to be selling off or bounce back up, break that high, but we've kind of just been bouncing off. I'd stay away from this area. And if you are going to play a break, if you're going to try and play a break of the 8703, it's 8703, high of 8703. You try to play a break at that. You want to look at the level 2, but this is so thickly traded. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, you can probably try to fill that gap, 8735. You can probably try to fill that gap right there we had. Who knows? I mean, gap fills, I don't play them. I don't really think they're all that. There are some traders that do play gap fills, but I just don't. Jobby is still high volume, biggest mover, high volume. ONDS is second one. COMM was kind of crappy, and it turned around. Comscope Holding Company, yeah. I'm looking at it. That's a little hard to play. Tom was a little hard to play. SCS was kind of a grinder sideways. It really wasn't moving. We have low floaters. BTBD. The low floaters. Let's go through them. We had BTBD. That showed up earlier. You could have, kind of hard to play, but you could have gotten yourself a few trades on that. CASI. That was a decent one. I think we could have traded. Verb. Let's look at Verb. Did that stop, tighten up? Verb is halted. We don't know. You have SNGX. As you can see, they're on the open. That all that did was just sell off right there. Boom. Massive sell off, and it's just been selling off. People made their money and ran on. PBM again. 9:30, we had a pop. Sold off. If you look at the pre-market movers, this is what it was. SNGX, PBM, Bourbon, INMB. That, and then INMB was the one with news at 8 o'clock. So if we take a look at that, that should have been the 4. You can take the pre-market, the top 4 right there, and then see what that was like. So SNGX, as we know, that one just kind of sold off right at the market, so that wouldn't have been a play. PBM wouldn't have been a play on the top 4. Maybe let's take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. We had a run up right here. You had a little doji, had a bounce off the non-EMA. Could have played the break of the high of that of $5. Ran up. You might have gotten 50 cents out of that. That was PBM. So that could have been played. INMB, I don't know, what was that like at 9:30 on the open. 9:30 on the open, we just sold off. So, yeah, that could have been played. PBM. Out of 4, you had 1 good trade. That's all you need. And it was 50 cents, so that was really good. Harval mover, BK, but if you look at it, it's only 50, 20. There's probably nothing there. I don't even know what that is. Ball trend. That's the triple Q. BTBT was kind of hard to play, and the reason probably, well, it got halted right here. And it opened up, kind of ran up. I don't think it showed up on the scanner until right up in here, but we had a pullback. That's kind of hard to play. It was below 9 EMA. It's a little hard. It's not ideal pullbacks. Look at this. We had a wick up and a wick down. That's not a pullback. We had a nice little run. We had a little bar right there. You could have gotten a break of that. If that, I don't know how this played out, but the break of the high there, 481, ran up. You probably got yourself 20 cents, 10, 15, 20 cents out of that. Could have gotten the pop on that, maybe break even. You have to be quick on the keys, though. If you're breaking and you're moving up, you want to shift B, move to a break even, and then you can shift H, sell half, and see if if you got yourself a runner. I mean, that's really the only way that you probably played that. And you got to have the hotkeys because there's, I mean, you just can't be clicking and typing in and doing all that. And why would you want to do that when it's so easy to just hit the keyboard and you're make trades, move the break evens during market hours? On pre-market, you can't do that. You got to put in mental stops. BTBD is puking out. Probably go back down here to the VWAP. 414. 414 is down in here. SPY is grinding sideways, getting ready to sell. Got volume on downside, selling volume. That was a nice little trade right there. Had a run up, a little pullback right there, break of that. 628.57. 857. Yeah, that was a nice little. Yeah, that was a nice little trade. Even if you got in late at 628.60. 629, you got to sell 40 cents out of that. That was a nice little trade. And on the Qs, triple Qs, got about the same thing. Got a little spike up, got a little spike down, a little bounce off non-EMA, play on the break of that, add to the break of that, so your cost average would be right here. And I'll say your cost average is right here, right at 86.75. And let's say you start taking some at 86.90, looking for it at 87. Get a breakdown here at 86.82. So yeah, I mean, you can make money on these ETFs and these triple Qs. I mean, you can definitely make money. Or you can switch over to futures and trade that. BTBT, we had a pullback, pretty large pullback, bounce off of support. BTBT, I got BTBT, got big volume, but it was selling off. We had a pullback. We got support right up in here, bouncing off of that. You can probably do a start at 1467. We got an ATR of 35 cents, so yeah, that would be like down in here. But the problem is you got to look at the volume on this sell-off right here. This volume is pretty large. This candle right here, not as big. The volume is not there. Goes up here, it'd probably be really good. But the volume's not there. Plus the non-EMA is sloping down. It's not a good trade. Possibly trying to get in on the break of that right there and maybe the break of this right here. You can call that a bullish engulfing candle. Maybe try to get in on the break of 477, but you know, it's just not ideal. Why want to take non-ideal trades? So we're getting a break. 476, 46. So you got yourself 10 cents, scalp it out, move to a break even. 494, can we, I'm looking at the level 2 right now. Or maybe get, yeah. Break of 475 is not going to be good. There you go. I mean, a spread on that's tight. See PIX, that had news. 5. Factor PIX. That didn't show up on the scan of the Really can't trade that. That's nothing. Verb has volume. Verb is getting halted quite a few times to the upside. And look at the spread. I mean, yeah, kind of hard to. But the low floaters, I mean, SNGX, that's nothing. Look at the 5 minute, not good. EBM, we earlier was good trades, but now look at it. You know, usually from 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I mean, on the, when the market opens up at 9:30, you want to sit on your hands for a couple minutes, see how things shake out, and then from there, from like 9:35 to 10:30, you're going to get. You should be able to 9:35, 10. About the first hour, you should get one good trade, but you got to put in your list and decide what you want to focus on and try to get that one good trade out of that. When you got that A+ set up, you can go in and get your money. We have COM that's moving up on the 1 minute. COM, take a look at that. If you were looking at that, yeah, that's just kind of hard. I mean, look at the volume on the 5 minute and look at that green candle. It's like an inside bar on that little indecision candle right there. That's just it's not ideal. I mean, you're sloping downwards on the 9 EMA. Why would you even think about doing that? That would be crazy. Why even do something like that? Going here. Even then, that's kind of hard to play. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's got a good spread, but that's about it. SERV on RVOL scanner. 82,000 with 8 RVOL is not high by any means. We can take a look at it. I wouldn't touch it. What I call a turd. That's kind of hard to play. That FFAI has been showing up on the biggest movers. 91 million float. ATR of 3. I mean, there's really nothing there. Earlier, there was something around 10 o'clock. We had some micro pullbacks that you could have gotten yourself about 5 cents on. Jobby was good earlier. Jobby was good. You look at here from, you look at this right here. This candle right here from 10:15 on. That was really good. And if you look at the 9 EMA, I mean, look at that. That was sloping upwards. Sometimes, sometimes what you want to do is, sometimes when you're looking at this, you're looking at the 9 EMA, what you can do is take a trend line and move it over there and then move this right here. And you can tell that it has a slight upward. So if you break this high right here, you could possibly go, Then what we did do is right here, what we did do is we got a break of that high right there. The volume is kicking in. Could get on the break of this candle right here. Have consolidation and the volume's kicking in. That's what you want to look for these breakout trades. That's what you want to look for breakout trades. And also the 5 minutes telling the story, so right now it's just sloping down. I mean, yeah, we traded above 9 EMA, but that's not. It's kind of sloping down. This is what you want to see. Alrighty, I think I will go ahead and cut this, and then we'll see what's going on tomorrow at 7 a.m. I will see you then. Make sure you download the update if you haven't already. It seems like everything is working with the socket server, with the streaming server. It looks like everything is looking good. And the thing is, if the streaming server ever goes down, the numbers still are going to, these price numbers are still going to be updating, but not in real time. It'll probably update every minute. And then I'll just restart the server or fix whatever's going on with it. But if these numbers don't ever update in real time, then don't worry about it, because these numbers will be updating every minute. I'm going to work on that a little bit later once we get this software up and running really good. I'm going to have some backup systems. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Make sure you like and subscribe.